Okay, welcome back. I am Aaron Covington,
And I'm Tony Rag,
and we are
40 Black and Dad.
all right. Tone, how you been doing, man?
Good. Uh, Lacking sleep. So it's a good topic that we have today because I'm tired.
This week we are talking about sleep, a sleep part two, continuation of our last discussion, where we talked really about tricks, kind of to put your child to sleep, like different ways to convince them, manipulate them into sleep, which is obviously an ongoing battle of any parent getting the kid to sleep. And we wanted to continue that discussion and anything else that comes with getting the kid to sleep, tracking their sleep, and sleep changes over time. And that is a thing that has really, well, that has been an eye opener for us is that if you search online every week, you can search any week in a child's life in these first few months.
Mhm.
And there's going to be an article, like a professional article that's like, oh, the 2 week sleep regression, the four
Mhm.
week sleep regression, the 7 week sleep regression. They are always in a sleep regression. The
I
two
know,
to
right?
3 month sleep regression. It's like, oh, so there's not actually any sleep regression. It's just that they sleep differently. They get in a little pattern and then they're growing, they change the pattern. And then you think that's the new pattern, but then they want another pattern because now they hit a low growth time. And then they change a new pattern because now they're eating more, but they're the same size. It just is a
Mhm.
constant evolution that where anything stable could last 2 days,
Yeah.
a week, or one night,
No, that's so true that you talk about like kind of the sleep regression and they talk about all these different like areas of the time like oh at 3 months is a steep regression at 6 months is a steep regression, but I was doing some research like pretty much toddlers and infants all need between like 11 and 15 hours of sleep, so that's from age
That's the thing.
from
Yeah,
3 months to like 2 years. It's all the
right,
same amount of sleep. It's just how it's broken
right.
up, like you said. So that's naps. That's, if they are, if you're blessed enough to have somebody sleep, kids sleep for 10 hours at night, that's just a blessing. But it's the same amount of sleep. It's just how it's done and how
That's
you
the
guys
key thing.
set up that same routine and for you to get sleep as well.
Well, that's the key thing. And they have these tracker apps that help a lot.
Mhm.
And it's tough with sleep because it's like, did they fall asleep? She slept on me, or she
Yeah.
slept in a chair thing or on a car ride, but keep track of as much of it as you can. And that's what
Mhm.
we try to do and look at the total. So if we get to like 7 o'clock at night and she has however many hours of sleep, 2 hours, 5 hours, which is kind of a lot for that late,
Mhm.
we have an idea of what to expect through the night. So for people that to understand the sleep tracker app, it takes a time in the morning to that time the next morning.
Yeah.
So it'll go from 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. instead of like 12 to 12. It doesn't do just like a day in terms of hours. It does a day from like 6 a.m. to 6 a.m., 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. You can set it.
Yep.
So from 7 to 7 a.m., you're like, okay, she's got 2 hours for the day. That means tonight she's going to sleep. Even if it's broken up, she's going to get about 10 hours or 10 plus hours because she just hasn't gotten it during the day.
Exactly.
And that itself, yeah, pretty consistent.
Yeah, and you'll see that consistency as the routine is, being developed. And even for like my son, like we usually try to get him into bed about 7:30, 8 o'clock, on an average day. And sometimes now, he's two, he's almost three, actually, he'll be three in a couple months. But now like he'll lay in bed for an hour playing around and like, okay, you're gonna be tired
Right.
if you don't go to bed. Like he doesn't understand the correlation between sleep and tiredness yet. So like he'll
Yeah.
he'll be awake for an extra hour or two. Then we still have to wake him up at 7:30 to get to daycare in the morning. And he said to me, Daddy, I'm always tired. I said, because you don't go to bed. So it's like he literally said, he
You
said,
don't listen.
I'm always
You don't
tired.
listen.
Yeah, because you always stay up till 10 o'clock in your bed, and we keep telling you to go to bed. So yeah, it's funny because yeah,
Gotta
it's still that same amount of sleep needed, but it's just how is it broken up? into your
He's,
schedule. And we try to get him to sleep. We try to get him longer naps when we can because he know he's not going to go to bed. He's not going to fall asleep right now at 8 o'clock. He might go to sleep at like 9. So we
I
have to
mean,
try to find where that extra hour can go.
he's got to stay up and watch Colbert. You know, he
Right?
wants
Oh
to
yeah,
see the
he
late night
loves COVID.
shows,
He
the
wants to
10:30
watch
news.
SNL. Yeah, the SNL on the weekend.
Yeah.
So
He's like,
yeah,
I gotta see Amy Tran on the 10:30 Eyewitness News. She always gets the best, you
exactly.
know.
So, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
so that is a tough part. And I'm thinking about a couple friends that are having kids soon. Um, and what to understand is that you do have to wake your kid up.
Hmm.
Like I think, Tony was just saying with his son, he gets around if they're asleep for a little bit, it gets around 7:30, 8. We gotta wake you up one more time to
Hmm.
eat and get ready for bed. Otherwise, you'll wake up at 11
Yeah.
and then you'll be up for 2 hours,
Hmm.
and then that'll throw the whole night off, and it'll make it so that you and your partner don't get sleep.
Exactly. Which is very important. You definitely want to get your own sleep. So having that, yeah, like we've had to wake him up from his naps. If he takes a nap too late, he'll sleep, extra hours, and he'll be like, oh, it's bedtime. And now when he wakes up, if it's dark, he'll be like, is it nighttime? Like, no, it's just he just took a long nap. It's like 7:30,
Right.
7:30 p.m. You need to get up and eat, and then we have to restart the whole cycle of getting you ready for bed. So it's definitely you have to kind of really understand those timings, and like sometimes it's nice to have them take a little bit later nap or a longer nap, but how's that going to affect the back end of your sleep? Because my son usually will get up if he goes to bed at 11 p.m. He still might wake up at 7:30 a.m. or 6 a.m. regardless because it's his internal clock. He knows when
Right.
it starts to get light outside because like a little bit of light will crack through his window. He'll be like, oh, is it wake up time? And then he'll be sitting up for 2 hours and just sitting in his bed, and we lose those hours, and then he might start getting tired the next morning at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., which throws off the whole day because then we can't do anything, we can't play, he's already cranky. So there's a lot that goes into just making sure you're staying on that schedule and building that routine. And obviously there's going to be days that fluctuate and that might throw the routine off.
Well,
Being as consistent as
the
possible
th-
is very important.
the thing about the routine, so are your times through the day consistent at this point?
They are more consistent during the week because he goes to daycare. So his daycare's 8 o'clock. They take his nap every day. He eats lunch at 12. He takes a nap at like 1, from 1 to 2:40.
Okay, so how do they do that then? Like at 1, whether he's tired or not or showing signs, they put them in a bed or lay them down. There's a place for them to nap. Is that what happens? Or
Yeah, so they're really good
and
at
what
it.
if he's not that tired? Yeah.
Yeah. So one, right before nap time is always outside playtime, which no kid can resist. Oh, I get the thumbs up. No kid can resist
Oh
outside
wow.
playtime where he runs around and expends as much energy as possible. So that's one thing. But the second thing is we learn this, and most kids have this, is like you do what your peers are doing. So if everybody else is laying down, he's gonna lay down.
You
Now they don't require
gonna
the kid to necessarily go to sleep, but you have to lay down in your cubby and be quiet so other kids. So it's really cool how they do it in certain daycares. I'm not sure if this is across the board, but they're like, okay, lay down. You don't have to sleep, but if close your eyes or just lay in your cot and be quiet so everybody else can sleep. And most times kids will fall asleep. It's if a kid's laying down, if I'm laying down for 30 minutes with my eyes closed, I'm gonna fall asleep. Like it's just natural, especially if I've been running around all day and they hype you up on
Yeah,
the milk and all this stuff that they put in you beforehand. So
right.
yeah, he's pretty good. And he
I
likes it.
get that's great because that they really have a plan. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, eat, expend the energy,
Yep.
everybody lay down, and they're probably talking really, okay, it's
Yeah.
nap time. We'll
Yeah.
sing songy, yeah.
Exactly.
Cause
Like a nap song.
I was wondering how they enforce that. And what we found, or what I've been thinking about a lot, having one kid, kind of isolated in a sense, like we're not at daycare yet, we're only still pretty young.
Hmm.
But I was thinking like, how are they? I was like, my daughter doesn't know people falling asleep.
Hmm.
We put her to sleep, and a lot of times she'll fight it, or she'll show signs, and it's not till if she's really tired, she won't fight it. But if she's kind of tired, she'll kind of fight it.
Hmm.
But I was like, she hasn't seen people fall asleep. I
Yeah.
was like, let me doze off and just have her nearby. Or when you doze off, I'll hold her nearby so she can just see people falling asleep. And we had
Yeah.
this hangout with this other family the other day, or these other families. It was like 5 people, kids of different ages. And I was like,
Hmm.
this is where they can learn from things.
Exactly.
And I feel like even at these 3 months, and even the other parents we were there were like, yeah, if your kid can see our kid's pretty calm, like pretty shy in public. So she's like,
Hmm.
seems real calm. And I'm like, well, your baby see our baby be calm. Maybe they'll be more calm. And if R see yours taking a bottle, maybe she'll like taking a bottle better. Like,
That does
and if they
work.
all fall asleep, you know what I mean? Then they'll be like, oh, baby sleep. So I should sleep.
That does work because, and again, especially if it's at a consistent time every day. Like if they see their, like Legend does all the time. Like he picks up a lot of habits, some good, some bad, from his daycare, from his friend. He literally has a group of friends that every day I drop him off, they all run to him and like Legend, and they all run off and play, and he
Nice.
follows their lead. So again, if they are laying down, he's gonna lay down too. If they're playing, he's gonna play. Like so it's very much part of that kind of socialization and the environment that they're in, that they are taught to kind of follow the rules or get in line. So yeah, he'll lay down, look around, everybody else laying down, he'll lay down, close his eyes, and he's always tired anyway, so he might as well take a nap. So it works out.
Yeah, take that nap.
Yeah.
And we found too at this stage, and like I said, I have a couple friends that have just had kids in the same time period within a month or two.
Hmm.
Early on, you get the short naps, right?
Yeah.
20-minute, 30-minute naps. So going back to what I was saying at the beginning is those do add up.
Hmm.
So at night, they might get like she'll get 5 or 6 hours at a time at night, a lot of times. She like 5 hours and we have to wake up and feed, and then another 5, or
Hmm.
6 hours and 4, and a couple special nights she got 7+ hours of sleep before waking up and needing to eat again.
Yeah.
But the half-hour naps are well, they're annoying, first of all. You're like, take
Yeah.
a nap, but they give you this false anxiety because one day they're gonna fall asleep past a half hour,
Yeah.
40 minutes, 45, 1 hour. And then you're like, okay, let her sleep.
Exactly.
Let her sleep. Hour 15, still asleep. Okay, yeah, she was tired. She's only been taking short naps. She needs to sleep. Hour and a half. So this is what now I have to do. I have to be the bad guy now. But we've learned from day naps of 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours that like if she sleeps for 2 hours during the day at one time, that is going to mess up the night.
Oh yeah, for
At
sure.
at 90 minutes, I have to be like, we are waking her up. No matter how peaceful she
That's funny.
looks, it has to be at like it can be the most peaceful wake up, but it has to be like you have to be up for like an hour or however long your wake period can be. Otherwise, you'll be up till midnight, or you'll be on a 2 hour cycle at night instead of a 4 or 5 hour cycle at night.
Yeah, that's very true. And I remember like when Legend was about 3 months, 4 months or so, we would do naps where like we'd hold him and rock him in the chair and just kind of hold him for those 30-minute naps so we could control and like, okay, regulate, like, okay, at about 35 minutes, I'm gonna stand up and you don't necessarily wake them up, but you start moving
Yeah,
around a little bit more and so they can kind of slowly like wake up, like, oh, you're awake. Like so you can kind of regulate that sleep because if you let them sleep too long it's going to be on the back end. You're not getting any sleep that night because it's going to be the schedule will be off. So that's very true. You have to be very cognizant of when you regulate those longer naps. But the good thing is, as the child gets older, they're going to start to just naturally take longer naps, which won't affect
right.
necessarily the sleep time. But still early in the 3 months, 6 months, yeah, you're gonna have to regulate those pretty closely.
Yeah, because the first for very new parents, there's almost like the first month you do just let them sleep
Yeah.
because they're they're newborn. It's like you're not really gonna get into a great routine anyway. They're pretty
Mhm.
random at the end, so you just kind of deal with that. And we've talked about some of the newborn stuff, and we had our pod with Sullivan. It's like you have to wake them up every 2 hours, no matter what. So
Yeah.
there's no, they're not gonna sleep that long. They need to eat.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you hit about 2 months, month and a half, 2 months, they start to be a little more like awake during the day,
Hmm.
and you have to think about that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And usually, like when when they wake up in these like you said, 3 to 6 months time, it's usually because of hunger. They don't just want to
Oh,
play.
oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
You
Like
know,
they
their stomachs are growing, so it's like, oh, they used to only feed for 10 minutes or take 1 bottle or 2 ounces, however you're feeding at the time. Now it's like sometimes I need 4 ounces. It starts to get a little more varied, which is harder to regulate if you're breastfeeding because you're not measuring it. But
exactly.
even if you're using a bottle, you just find like, wait, she took 4 ounces last feeding and another 4 ounces. This baby's eating greedy. Why are you so greedy? And then the next day it's like, oh, only 2 ounces and then 1 ounce and then four. It's like, that's kind of, they're just becoming more of a human being in the sense of like, you don't always eat the same amount every day necessarily. Some
Exactly.
days you're hungrier than others. Some days they're hungrier than others.
Yeah, that's very true. And like I said, it's one of those things that the food intake will directly impact the sleep. So the more full belly,
Yeah.
you sleep a little bit longer, and that's kind of how you can also regulate that. Like, okay, I'm gonna give it instead of 3 ounces. The last feeding was 3 ounces. Let me give them 3.5 or 4. Maybe they sleep just
Right.
20 minutes long. Yeah, it's like, and that's the advanced parenting where you can start to steal 15, 20 minutes for yourself or a nap or whatever. But yeah, that's very true. So that's funny. I
Yeah.
miss those
Yeah.
days where Legend was just eating milk. But this would be another podcast, but feedings are fun. Like back then, it's just milk. Like, oh, 4 ounces, 8 ounces of milk.
Simple.
Now it's like, please just eat one French fry. Can you just eat? You want one piece of macaroni? No, okay. You're just gonna go hungry, and I'm gonna be a bad parent. CPS is gonna find me. So yeah, we'll talk about that later on. But enjoy the feedings where it's just milk and they just drink it all without
Yeah.
any complaints or I don't want this. I want something else. So
Well, we'll talk about that too when we talk poop
yeah, yeah. Oh,
and
poop
the
changes.
poop changes.
Poop changes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, who pooped in the toilet like that? Oh, legend? Oh, yeah.
Poop is probably my favorite part of the stages we're at, this early stages,
Yeah.
because I know what it gets to. I
Yeah.
know where it goes. And I know right now we're in a luxury poop stage where it's like
You're in the
doesn't
cute
really
poop.
smell
Oh,
like it has a fragrance, but
it's just
it's not
milk.
smelly poop. It's not
Yeah,
solid. Yeah, it's just watery,
enjoy that.
It's all it's almost always just all contained in the diaper. There's a little
Oh yeah.
leakage or something, but it's not what you get later.
These new diapers are amazing. They soak up all that nice cutesy poop. Now later on when he's just dropping deuces in the
Yeah,
toilet and, in his pants, those ones are different. So, but yeah,
yeah,
there's definitely a change. So enjoy the fun of having baby poop now, because once they start eating solid food of any kind, you can get the lime green poops, you can get the smelly poops, you can get all kinds of
right.
interesting ones. But
Yeah.
it's good now.
She's not dropping deuces yet, right?
That's
Like
great.
dropping a
No,
deuce is something we understand as a real bowel
thinking
movement. Right
of
now,
real poop. Yeah.
right. She's dropping singles. Deuces don't come until we start introducing the solid food. So I'm happy to not
Yeah.
have any deuces.
Yeah. You're not introducing
Um,
protein into and fiber into the diet yet.
right.
That's funny.
But that being said, it has been funny too how having to poop can affect her sleep.
Yeah.
So sometimes she's squirming and it's like, is she hungry? Oh no, she went back to sleep. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
Then like half an hour later, squirming again. It's like, well, what is it? We pick her up, try to feed her. She's gonna eat because it's been 3 or 4 hours. She's hungry.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll be holding her, or maybe while she's eating, you just hear it rip. and you're like, oh, she was just uncomfortable. I
Yeah.
mean, she's hungry, so she's eating, but she probably could have slept quieter for another 2 hours, but she couldn't get the poop out while
Yeah.
she was sleeping sometimes.
Yeah, the poop and gas at night are definitely things that are going to impact the quality of sleep. Because if you see it moving a lot and kind of having like little whimper, not real cries, but those little whimpers, like oh,
Right,
that would be gas, or
right.
you might need to, pat the back a little bit to get that out, or play do the leg thing where you kind of run their legs so you can help them poop a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah, we have to do that a lot. So,
On a good cradle where the legs are kind of like lifted in,
oh yeah,
where she can relax and then her head will go down and she's like,
like, oh,
a
thanks,
little
Dad.
strain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
And then,
advanced parenting right there. Good job. That was advanced hold.
yeah.
The pro poop.
Then she lets it rip. But
Yeah.
it is funny because yeah, 100% anybody I talk to, people that have kids. I caught up with a friend last week talking to people on the phone. And the first thing is always, are you sleeping? You sleeping yet? Did you get any sleep?
Mhm.
How's the sleep? And, you know, I'm always like, you know how it is. You got kids.
Mhm.
what,
You know the
what do you
answer to
think?
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not especially sleep deprived. Like my kid is doing something crazy and I'm not
Yeah.
getting sleep because my kid is like sleeping like 24-year-old, like you know how it is, man.
It's like you get the sleep you can get, and you just accept that and you move on. Like you don't think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why when people ask, I'm like, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? It's kind of like water cooler talk. Like, you got a case of the Mondays? Are you getting any sleep?
Like I'm, and sometimes I feel like people want to hear like just how bad you have it, so then they're like they feel better about themselves because they had it bad. Like, man, I ain't getting no sleep. I hope Eric
Oh,
ain't getting no sleep either. Like, oh, you're not getting no sleep. Oh, thank
I'm gonna
God,
start.
it wasn't just me. Like, misery loves company, so it's like yeah, like okay, good. It wasn't just me not getting no sleep. So,
I'm gonna start lying. I'm gonna start lying. I'm like,
oh,
yo,
I sleep amazing. Yeah, I got a full 18
get
last night.
3 2-hour naps during the day. At night, 6 hours, one feeding,
Yeah,
another 6 hours.
like my baby
Like
has a lot.
that's like 8. Oh, that's so much sleep. I'm like,
It's like,
she
well,
loves to sleep.
yeah. He's like, my baby feeds herself and goes right back, put herself down for a nap. I haven't seen her in 3 days. She's good. No.
Yeah. She's walking. She goes to the fridge,
Yeah,
still
right.
on milk, but still on milk because the poops are good. Almond milk because she's
Right.
health conscious. She knows how the cows are polluting the atmosphere.
That's funny.
She gets that
That's
almond
a
milk.
beautiful. That's
Then they're like, almond milk. She makes it herself. She gets the bag. She drains the almonds.
yeah,
It's just an amazing kid, spectacular, an
yeah.
X-Men, a mutant, really.
Right.
I don't know how she does it.
Yeah, that's what they don't want to hear that. They want to hear your misery. You're miserable as well.
Yeah,
That's how you get part of the parent group is show how much misery you have with raising a child in the first year.
I do feel that too.
Yeah.
I feel that. Feel like you're getting any sleep. It's like I feel like people want me to be like, oh, 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 oh man, she's up every hour at night. Doesn't nap during the day. We can't put her down. She's screaming, help me. Oh
That's
God.
exactly what your friends want. And they're like, it gets better, man. Like, oh, it does. Like they want to be they want you to be miserable, but they also want to be the comfort for you to be like, okay, man, it gets better. Like, oh, okay. Okay, I
Oh,
can make
this
it
is
better.
great. What kind of response could you give to that as a parent? That's not too sarcastic like what I just said. That's like that they can feel it, other people can feel inspirational, right? Well, you could say, what is, how's the sleep going? Maybe if I said something like, oh man, you got any advice?
Yeah,
Just open it
right.
up.
People would love that. You're like, oh, I got this chart right here. Yeah, I mean, I don't even. That's funny. I don't know because like anything you say, like parents know like you're not getting sleep, so it's just like I said, it's a water cooler question. It's like the generic
Yeah,
like break-in question. Like, you see the game last night? Like for guys, like, oh
right.
yeah, I saw the game. Like, no, I didn't see the game. I have kids, but yeah, that's a
Oh,
good question. Like, what could you say that'd be a good response?
I'm gonna try this. Any advice? Just kind of being like, oh, it's tough, man. And any advice?
And just
And
be
just
really,
lean in and then
yeah,
just
exactly.
wait.
Just be really
Yeah.
excited. Like, I need help. Yeah.
And then just be super grateful, whatever cliche thing they say. Well, what you got to do is
Give a pass.
just make sure you keep feeding them. Oh, duh.
I
Keep
I
feeding
forgot
them.
that yesterday. Yeah, right. That's the
We
thing I
didn't
didn't
feed her
do.
at all yesterday.
She didn't get no sleep. That's funny. Yeah, that's
Feed her, feed her what? Because we gave her a cheeseburger. She didn't need it.
she was
Milk. You have to
angry.
continue to give her milk. Oh, give her milk and she'll sleep. Not
Oh,
cheeseburgers for a 3-month-old. You're a genius.
that's funny. Yeah,
Oh man. No. But yeah.
that's how it
Which
is.
actually was funny what you said about friend being like, did you see the game? And didn't I definitely got a friend, an old friend, who doesn't live like in LA, like
Mhm.
who just texts me and he doesn't like carry on conversations. He'll just be like, Laker game. That's the text. Laker game. I'm
Like,
like,
what about it?
first of all, I don't have Spectrum. So I can't watch the Laker games in LA.
Which sucks, right? That's another whole thing. But yeah, I know
Yeah,
what
that's a whole different
you
podcast
know,
even.
yeah.
But then I'm like, what am I even supposed to say to that? Especially now when I don't even know. I'm not following the NBA like I did
Me either.
6 months ago, you know? It's
Yeah.
impossible unless that's your job.
Yeah. True.
So he'll be like, you see the game? You watch an all-star game? No, 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 no.
Nope.
I cannot respond to all these texts. I can't even think about the things you're asking me
All right.
because I'm taking care of a baby and trying to keep my life from falling apart. You know what I mean?
That must be a single friend with no kids, I assume.
Oh, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
because yeah, no, like it like any dad, is gonna understand. Like you're not gonna watch the same sport. Like again, I big sports fan, haven't caught up with more. Like will catch a couple of the Warriors games, because my wife's a big Warriors fan. We'll catch a
Did,
couple March Madness. I used to like take the
did
whole
you know it
weekend off.
started?
It, I
Did you
I
know
I
March Madness started?
I saw a game. I saw like the end of one game yesterday. I'm like, oh, this seems nice. Never gonna watch it. Like, I don't care who wins. I have no dog in the fight. I don't care. Like, I have too much other stuff to do. Like, you just have those
Yeah,
adult responsibilities. But yeah, your whole life changes when you become a dad or become a parent. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not gonna watch March
Well,
Madness. Don't care.
maybe once elementary school starts, I'll try to jump a little bit more back in
Yeah,
and be like, man, the league has changed.
yeah, no, right. Who are these kids? That would be the one thing.
But I
Like, oh, go ahead. What?
no, finish your thought.
No, I was gonna say that would be the one thing. Like the only time I probably will get back into it is like if my son starts playing sports, like if he plays basketball, then we'll watch it together. Like, okay, you gotta take this move and like. But until then, like my sports days are pretty much far behind me when it comes to like watching them religiously like we used to. Like you go to
Yeah,
Buffalo Wild Wings and spend the whole day watching college football and then watch Sports Center all night, recapping the games you just watched. And now it's like if I can watch the first half of a game or the first quarter of a game,
right.
I think I've won as a sports fan for the year. Like,
Yeah. Give me a good quarter. If the kid is asleep,
yeah,
um, and I don't have something pressing to do,
yeah,
or I'm just really tired, I'm like, I'm not about to do nothing right now. I'll check
mm,
the scores online sometimes.
yeah.
And if it's a close game, I can watch the last five, the last
That's all
8 minutes,
you need.
whatever we're in.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if it's early, I'll start a game like first quarter, and then I'm like, that was a good game. That was a good game. First quarter was good. Yeah,
That was a really
I
good
saw the
quarter.
game. I saw the
Yeah.
game. I saw that first quarter. They were
You saw
balling.
that? You saw that tip off? That tip off was cold, bro. Yeah. After
Man, and one of the best.
I guess
That was
that's
a historic tip off.
that's the good thing about being on the West Coast sometimes. Like we can put Legend to bed at 8 o'clock and we can still catch like the tail end of maybe a couple of games, whatever. So without it being midnight. So yeah, just
Right,
get bored.
right.
For 40,
And then he would just stay up later because he's got to catch the end of the games.
of course. Yeah,
He's like, I got to see the post game. I got to see the inside the NBA with Barkley. I got to see
exactly. What does Chuck have to
the
say
first
about this?
sports. It's like, go to bed, kid.
He got a little TV up in his little room. Man,
Yeah. What are you
but
doing?
yeah,
Uh,
he's he's a handful, but as all kids are. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's funny.
No doubt you will not escape having your hands full. But yeah, this was a good pot on sleep, kind of
Yeah,
letting you know about your, routines and how routines can be varied, but it is the accumulation of sleep that is going to matter more than specific times, I feel like.
yeah,
But some people stick to the times and they figure it out and they're really like strict about it. And you really have to go with what works for you, but understand that you're looking to get what 12 to 15 out or something like
yeah.
that in
About
the
12
first
to
kind of
15
couple
hours.
years.
For infants, they say 12 to 16. For toddlers, 11 to 14. So pretty much anything
Yeah,
between 12 and 15 hours is where you're going to be standard, and that includes obviously any naps and things like that. So yeah,
yeah.
there we go.
Cool. Well, we'll wrap it up. My
Yeah,
squeaky chair, and look forward to next week. We got some cool topics, and looking to also bring in some more guests again,
yeah.
and see how their fatherhood journey is going, and or how they're preparing for an upcoming fatherhood journey.
No, exciting newbies.
Yeah,
All
newbies. All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
right, have a good one, guys.